guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for October 23rd, 2022. So this has been kind of a weird week for me. I did do a lot of reading. I finished a lot of books. 2, 3, 4, what, 5, 6, maybe 6 books and some comic stuff. It was a really good reading week, but because if you know, last week was a really good reading week for me as well. I read a lot of pages because I read a big book as well as several other books as well. I think there's I'm having some kind of I'm in some kind of weird mood. I don't want to do anything but read, and that includes work, that includes chores, that means anything. I don't want to do anything but read. And I think it's really escapism. I just want to just detach, I guess. And it's not going well for me. I don't have these episodes very often. I would say very rarely. But I know that the last 2 weeks I felt very off in a lot of ways. And all I want to do is read books. So, I mean, that means I got through a lot, but it's still kind of off. So everything is fine in my world. As in, there's nothing that should be that I can pinpoint of why I'm feeling this way. I just feel like I obligated myself to something that I shouldn't have at this moment because I'm the way I'm feeling. And I think that's kind of stressing me out a little bit, but really I think it's I just want to cut off from I just want some time off, and I can't take any right now because, because of things going on in the job, wise. I will have a couple days off in November for, one for NaNoWriMo, and then I'm taking the week of Thanksgiving off. So that'll be nice, but I got to get there first. And this week's weird. So as I said, I read a lot of stuff. I'm really letting myself just mood read. I don't know what I'm going to pick up next for sure. A lot of times I plan a little bit. I try to plan a little bit. And right now I can't even read stuff that I would like to get through. I'm just picking up stuff and randomly reading that. And again, it doesn't help that this week I read a lot of library books. I got a lot of library books on Sunday that came in on holds. I have a couple more today that are coming in. And I'm actually reading those, which again, I was trying to cut back on trying to read more books that I own, but and then I bought books this week. I went to Powell's yesterday and I didn't spend too much money because I had some credit from when I took books back. Not recently, because I still have that card. I didn't use that card, which was stupid. But I used the card that I had done back in May when I took books, so I finished that one off. But I have a lot of credit. I just didn't use it. I'm hoarding it, which is dumb. Anyway, so it's just, I'm in a weird mood. Anyway, and I'm obviously very talkative. So, so sorry about that. So anyway, as I said, I read 6 books, which is really, really good for me. None of them are long. I mean, it's not like it's earth-shattering, but for me, it's still a lot of stuff. So I do want to start off by talking about the book that I DNF'd last week that I forgot to talk about. I totally forgot about it because I had it in a bag for work. And that is The Children of Red Peak by Craig DeLuise. So I bought this, I think this year. I think I bought it around my birthday this year. And I've been looking at this forever. It's a cult book, so it's following a few adults who were survivors from something that happened in this cult at Red Peak. I don't remember now the name of the cult. It was something. Anyway, and we get that one of the survivors has committed suicide, and they all show up for her funeral, and they talk a little bit about what happened, but nobody really wants to talk about it too much. But they all think that they should go back to the place and see what they can come up with, because it's been 15 years since it happened. They were all children when they survived, and there's still a lot of mysteries involved, and it's a really big deal in their lives, and in, people know about it and stuff. So I found that interesting, but I have to say, right away, I did not like the characters enough to continue on. And especially when it went to their childhood, I don't know, I just didn't connect with the way he wrote kids. And maybe that was my problem. I didn't get very far. I got about 45 pages in, and I just was like, I just don't care. And it's kind of sad because I have been wanting to read this book for a couple years since it came out. I don't know. Anyway, so unfortunately this did not work for me. And that's about 2 years since it came out. So I've been wanting to read it, and it just, yeah. And again, the mystery part sounded cool with what happened to the cult, because nobody really knows what happened to them. They all disappeared. And some of the children claim that everybody was killed, but somebody took all the bodies, and it was like a couple hundred people. And then other ones said there was some fire on the mountain. It was like this great idea. But I couldn't stand the kids. It's just the interaction didn't work for me. I don't know why. So it just didn't work. So anyway, I'm DNF and I'm getting rid of that. Okay. So then I have one reread that I did this week. On Sunday, I reread Fangs by Sarah Anderson, which is just a cute little, graphic novel or whatever about a werewolf and a vampire and their little love story. And it's just so cute. I just love this. And I bought this, I think 2 years ago. And I think I read it every October. It's just cute. I mean, there's such cute, I was just trying to see if I could, they're just little cute little one panel, usually, stories. And it's just, they're just so adorable. I really like it. It's different from her other stuff. She does the Sarah Scribbles stuff. So, I like that stuff as well. I read those a couple weeks ago. Was it last week or the week before? I read all those. But anyway, I love Fangs. So I reread that. That was just a fun thing. And then I finished Daughters of the Lake by Wendy Webb. I think I finished it on Sunday. I think I did. I don't know anymore. I read so many books. I don't remember what days I read anything. So we're just going to go through them. So anyway, as I said, I think I was in the middle of this Sunday last week. So this is another of her kind of paranormal mystery novels that take place on Lake Superior, either in Wisconsin or Minnesota. It's kind of in that area. This one is, the town shows up in a couple of the books. I now have to read the book that comes before this, The End of Temperance Dare, which actually was the first book in this little area. Because I read first The Haunting of Bryn Wilder, because that's the one I bought on a whim. And I read that in July. Really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't like, these aren't fantastic. These are just fun. Like, to me, they're fun rides. I always laugh at them because they don't work perfectly. And, not everything is wrapped up like the way I would think, but it's funny, her mysticism or the spiritualism in here with ghosts and other things that they pull. So this is technically the second book in this, the town that they all take place in. I think it's Wharton or something like that. Anyway, so this one came out 2019, I think, something like that. No, 18. So, so this was a couple years before the Bryn Wilder one. Anyway, so this one follows Kate, who has just, is in the process of about to divorce her husband. She found him cheating on her. So we get her backstory on that. She moves with her family back to her parents' house, who live on Lake Superior, and she's trying to figure out what to do with herself because her job was as a reporter at the same newspaper that he worked at. So she quit her job. She left town. She's like, I'm not dealing with any of this because of the humiliation kind of thing. So she's trying to figure out what to do. And when she's at her parents' house one morning, a body washes up on the shore there, right by their house. And she completely freaks out about it because she has been dreaming about the same woman for the last few weeks since she moved back. So then it's the mystery of the woman in the lake and her going to her cousin's house a little not too far down the coast a little bit to stay at his bread and breakfast, which is staying at the mansion that was in their family that he is running as a bread and breakfast. And so she's there to, just kind of chill out, trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. And then she gets involved with the local law enforcement because they're still questioning her because she acted so weird at the body. But then there's the mystery of the family and and again, of course, of her dreaming about this woman and seeing scenes of her life and trying to figure it out. So it's very much that kind of a, paranormal where it's, nothing's realistic, but I think I like the characters in here. I love her cousin, who she goes to stay with. He was also in The Haunting of Bryn Wilder, so it was great to see him again, which is now why I have to read The Enter Temperance Dare to see if he's in that one too, because he's a great character. But overall, I just enjoyed this. This is not like great. This is not perfect. This is not anything like this. These Wendy Webb's books are just fun for me. They're just like candy. Like I'm not saying like guilty pleasure wise. I'm just saying I enjoy the ride. Like, but it's not like something I'm going to keep. I'm not going to hold on to this probably. I'm not sure I'm going to get rid of all these yet. I think I'm going to hold them for a little bit. I might go back and reread some of them. Right now, I don't think so, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I liked them enough that I bought more of her books. So I'm going to read more of hers. They're just fun. So then I picked up one of my library books, which is House of Shadows by Darcy Coates. So I'd read my first Darcy Coates the week before. The Haunting of Blackwood House, which I was super surprised at how much I enjoyed that book, even though the main character pissed me off a couple of times. But really, overall, I love the haunting story. So this is another kind of haunted house story, but this one takes place in farther back in time. I don't know if this is like really our world. It's kind of hard to tell because of the names. And anyway. But so she is the main character, Sophie, is the oldest in her of her siblings, and so she is out. So it's kind of Victorian-ish. I would say it was kind of on that range because they talk about carriages and things like that. So she goes to the opera with her uncle, and she meets a very mysterious man, and she's not sure good or bad she met him, but he shows up the next day at her house to talk to her father about business, and then finds out then when her father comes home while they're talking, because she was the only one home to talk to him anyway, but that the family has been ruined, that the shipment has gone missing. And so this interesting man, Joseph, how do you say his Arrington, something like that. He offers her his hand in marriage. So he offers to save the family pretty much. And so she decides to marry him for that reason. And then she has to move to his place, which is called, Northwood, that was it. And it's out in the middle of nowhere. And then things start happening once she gets there. It's all very mysterious. She doesn't know this guy. Like, it's a couple, like, they got married like 15 days after they first met kind of thing. So it's like this whole, she doesn't know what she's getting into, but she's forced to do it for family reasons. But this gets really good. I know that sounds like just a romance setup, but it really was good in the way that the horrors that happen at this house and what the family goes through, and her having to deal with his aunt and uncle who are there, and his young cousin is 13, and she's really bizarre, and things going on with her. And then there's all these little shadows and noises and doors slamming, and the house is really confusing because it's a huge house in the middle of nowhere in the middle of these woods, and there's things out in the woods. We're not quite sure what those are. And it was just so much fun. This one I really enjoyed. It's the first book in the, is it Ghosts and Shadows series? I'm not sure. It's still online. There's a different one. So anyway, I really enjoyed this. I liked the way it ended. And then of course I found out it was a series. So there's a second book. So, but I got this from the library, to try more of Darcy Coates, and I'm so glad. So I'm going to try to read everything from Darcy Coates at the library first. And then once I finish everything that they have, then I'll have to start buying some more of her books. These are just fun. I really enjoyed it. And again, this was a different tone from the other one because the other one was more contemporary. This one is historical. But I like this. Again, it has my haunted house. It has the mysteries, and it has the family secrets, but it also has all the ghost stuff and all the horror that comes with the, things that are not real, that are, that you see and stuff. I really, really enjoyed that. And here, kind of things. I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that book. And then this week I also had my buddy read with Tea and All the Books. We started the next Ilona Andrews series together. This is Clean Sweep, the first book in the Innkeeper's Chronicles series. I really enjoyed this. It's very short. This is their self-pub series, so they are still writing this one. They just actually finished book 5, I think. So, is that right? I think that's right. Anyway, 5 or 6. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's 5 that just came out. Or it's going to come out in December, I believe. December or January, one of the two. Anyway, so we've decided to read this one. And we're following Dina. And she runs a bed and breakfast in this small town in Texas. And she has a backstory of her parents who had been innkeepers before her and had disappeared. And so we have that backstory of, tragedy in her background. Her siblings are out in the universe doing their own thing, because this has aliens and this has a great paranormal element. It's a great world building. Again, they are so good at that. And so she's this hotel, and so she is a sanctuary or a place for people to stay who come from other planets. I think this is great. And this book starts with, there have been a couple of dogs that have been killed in the neighborhood, and she doesn't know what's going on, and she's supposed to stay neutral, not supposed to get involved. So she sees a man who she knows is a werewolf, and she kind of hints to him, hey, you should be taking care of your territory. And he tries to play it off like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, yeah, whatever. And so I like their dynamic right off. It was fun. Anyway, it was just, so then it kind of goes from there. But there are creatures, there are aliens, there are vampires that are different. I liked that. And again, the werewolf is different. That's also cool. We got to get off planet at one point. There's a lot in this small little book, and I'm so excited to continue the series. I think it's not as not as dense. It's not, because it's not long. It was really an easy read. It was just fun, and it just moved really fast. So if you like really fast, and again, I would call this a sci-fi urban fantasy. It was kind of a cross. I really like this, and I'm excited to continue on. We're going to continue on in November to the next one, which right now I can't think which one it is. But anyway, I might have just bought those at Pals. So I'm ready to start the next book. So we'll do that sometime in November. So I'm glad we got our Buddy redone, and another good book. I really enjoyed that. And I did get this from her for my birthday, so that was good. I've read both books that I got from her, which is good for me. Then I had another library book that I picked up on a whim called The Resurrectionist by E.B. Hudspeth. I don't know how you spell that. So it's called The Lost Work of Dr. Spencer Black. And so this was a really weird book. And I don't remember who I saw had this on there. I watched so many October TBRs for spooky reads, because again, I'm in just that mood, and I'm just mood reading pretty much solidly. But I picked up this on a whim. I got it from the library. I was like, oh, I'll just get that from the library. So what it is the first part of the book is journals and journal entries and stuff about Dr. Spencer Black, and his kind of descent from being like a top surgeon, a very young top surgeon in the late 1800s, and how he kind of descends into this guy thinking that all the myths are real about different creatures like sirens, mermaids, and and dragons and things like that. And then he tries, he descends into trying to prove that is true by manipulating creatures to look like those. And then the second half of the book, and the story was just weird. And then the second half of the book, he has drawings of those animals, what he thinks they would look like in person, and their bone structure, their muscle structure. I mean, this artist who did this book did a fantastic job in trying to make his point of how these could be real, how the muscles would actually fit over certain parts of the body, like in a mermaid or something, and different creatures. So that was really fascinating. But again, I don't know all the muscle names or the bones names. So to me, a lot of that stuff just kind of went over my head. It was just fun to look at. So the first half of the book was, this story, and it ended really weird. It was just weird. And then the last half is his encyclopedia, or coda something. I don't remember what they called it, that has all the animals. It was just a very bizarre I'm trying to think what they called that. Cotis Extinct Animali? I don't know how you say that, Alma. A study of the lesser known species of the animal kingdom. And so again, he has this like, it just ridiculous. Anyway, this was a weird read. Anyway, so I'm glad I got it from the library. Glad I read it really fast and got through it. Weird. I don't recommend this lesson except just to look at the pretty pictures. I thought the story was kind of pathetic. I didn't give it a very high rating. It was just kind of weird. Then I picked up another horror novel. Near the Bone by Christina Henry, which I really, really enjoyed this. And I do like Christina Henry's writing. She is hit and miss for me on her takes on these ones where this one's not like Alice, or, you know, the Chronicles of Alice, or, you know, like Lost Boy and The Mermaid. Like some of those, like Lost Boy did not work for me. Neither did The Mermaid, really. I love the Alice Chronicles. Mostly the second book kind of went off rails for me, but I still liked those enough, and I still liked her writing style. So I have several more of her books still to read, more in those ones that are kind of retellings. But this one's a different one. So this one doesn't follow that. This is following Maddie, who lives in the mountains with her with a man she calls her husband, and they are like isolated. It's like she hasn't seen anybody in years up there, and she goes out to check the traps snares for stuff, and she comes across a fox that has been torn apart, and not in a way that was eaten, just torn apart. And so she goes back and explains to William that what she saw, and then they see some strange prints. And so what this is talking about what actual kind of monster is on the mountain. Is it the one that was already there, or the one that's just come? And it talks about what happens when some people come to look for the monster that's been sighted on the mountain, and how they get involved with her and William. And this was a really hard read in certain things. I mean, there is stuff with abuse and a lot of triggers for that kind of thing. It was really hard, but I just rooted for Maddie all the way through this, like, and what happens through this, and how things come to be. And then there's this monster element and these other people who showed up, and how that interacts with her. It went in directions I did not expect. I actually thought it was going to go one way with the way that it's described on the back, and that did not go. I was surprised at the choices made of who survived and who didn't, and how they died and who didn't, you know, kind of thing. I thought it was just a really, it was a really good horror book. I thought it was, I didn't expect it. I expected one part of it, but I didn't know how it was going to go. It was actually very interesting. I really enjoyed it overall. This was probably my favorite read of the week, just because I was really into it. And I read this one really, really fast because I just could not put it down. I think I actually stayed up a little late to finish this one. I did that on a couple of them when I was really close, but this one I definitely stayed up probably past my bedtime to get it done. I really overall like this. And I'm glad I finally got to this, because I meant to read this when it came out. I didn't buy it right off, because this is where I was like, not sure I wanted to keep buying her books. And I had pre-ordered several of them. And I hadn't been reading them. But I'm glad I read this one. So now I want to read the other two that I have. I still have The Girl in Red and Horseman, I believe. I don't own The Ghost Tree. So if you've read that and you think I should read that, let me know. I'm just kind of iffy on that one, because it's a young girl it's her story of stuff. It's still horror, so I might still read it, but I don't know. I haven't bought that one yet. But The Girl in Red or The Horseman I still have to read. So anyway, we'll see. But I really, really enjoyed that, and I'm glad I read that. Then another little library book I had was the Cryptid Club. This is also by Sarah Anderson. So I just been on a Sarah Anderson kick this month. So this just came out. So I'm one of the first ones to read this one. And I guess the cover glows in the dark. Anyway, so this is just her little series about little monsters. I've seen this one online on her Instagram and stuff. So it just has to do with little creatures and monsters, and they're, you know, Bigfoot and Mothman. And some of them, oh, it's so funny. I mean, I think I saw it's of them are just so funny. They're like they like it's just the creatures dealing with sorry, I'm not thinking. It's just cute. It's just little one sheet panels usually, like, or one page panels, like her other stuff like fangs and the Sarah scribbles. But this one just is cute. It's just a new one out, and so it was just fun. As I said, I got from the library. So I did read a lot of library books, as I said. And then I picked up Mexican Gothic I think Thursday night. So yeah, so this I read Thursday, Friday, and I finished it yesterday, by Silvia Marina Garcia. So I have read 2 other books by her. I've read Gods of Jade and Shadow, and I've read Certain Dark Things. So I enjoyed Gods of Jade and Shadow. It was not a favorite, but I still enjoyed it. I did not like Certain Dark Things, but I can respect the themes and things behind it, and her different take on vampires on that one. Sorry. Mexican Gothic, I feel almost exactly the same. I feel this is like kind of middle between those two, because I liked a lot of the mythology in Gods of Jade and Shadow, and like I said, I liked the different lore for the vampires in Certain Dark Things. This one again is kind of a take on the Gothic novel, because this takes place in the 50s, and Naomi is asked by her father to go visit her cousin Catalina, who is recently married, but they have not seen since she was married, because she sends this really strange letter asking for help and stuff. So her father decides to send her just to kind of test the waters and see what's going on. So she goes to this very isolated village and to High Place, which is this home on top of the, on this mountain kind of thing. And it's where a silver mine was. And the family used to be very, very rich, but the silver mine has been closed for many years due to, it was, they had a lot of other issues, but it was flooded at one point. And so she goes there thinking that Virgil married her cousin Catalina for her money, and they're worried that she's kind of trapped there against her will. And she gets there and she's actually very ill, but the family's acting very strange. And so this is her investigating kind of thing. And again, she is a young woman of 22. She is, very popular back home. She is used to getting kind of her own way. And so she's put in this situation where she's in a house with all these people that don't really want her there, but they know that she has to be there because of Catalina and stuff. And this, I don't know. So this book, I would say, it's written really well. And I can see why a lot of people like this. I mean, again, I've read a lot of the Gothics I've read a lot of the Gothics that were like the first ones in the 1700s, but I've also read stuff through the 1800s and, through the Victorian times. And then I've also read a lot of the stuff that was written in the 60s and 70s, or the 70s. Yeah, 60s, 70s, when it was really popular kind of thing. So, with Victoria Holt and Phyllis A. Whitney and, I know there's another name and I'm just blanking. But, like I've read those kind of ones as well. So this... I think my problem with this one, it was that the things that were the most horrific, it wasn't the part that made what's going on with this house, what's going on with these people, what's going on with the family, like family secrets, weird things going on in the house. It took too long to get to the weird stuff. But the gross stuff to me was all the human stuff and the people that were there and the things that they did. And that to me grossed me out more than some of the normal horror stuff. And I don't like to read domestic thrillers or things like has that kind of stuff. And I felt like there was some of that in here. Not quite like that. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. I just didn't get along with it. Let's put it that way. There was just parts of it. I was just so upset of what was happening to her. I mean, the main character, Naomi, I loved her. I really liked her character, even though she's nothing like me. Like I liked how flippant she could be and stuff. It was so realistic. Like I think she as a character was just so fully formed, and I I think that was really well done. It's just overall the story just didn't work for me. I did like the way it came in the end. I liked where the mystery, the Gothic paranormal issue kind of thing, that was all cool. I liked all that. That was all interesting. It was just took too long to get to it. And there were just some gross human beings in here. That's all I'm gonna say. Again, it's part of the horror part of this. So again, I think it was really well done. I know why people like this, and I get it. Maybe I should not have bought a physical copy. I should have got this from the library. But anyway, I did enjoy this overall. And again, this is an author that I'm so not sure how I feel about her, because everything's been kind of in the middle of the road, but her ideas are interesting. Her themes are really good. Her writing is fantastic. I mean, nothing like that. It's just, they just don't click with me. But I have one more book of hers, The Beautiful Ones, which is a whole nother different era, different stuff. So we will try one more of hers. I really want to read The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, but we'll see. I might be done after The Beautiful Ones. We'll see. I don't know. It was one of those ones where I'm like, I don't know. Okay, so that's what I have finished. See, I did a lot. See, I've already talked so much, but I read so many books. Anyway, I'm right now in the middle of House of Secrets, which is the second book in the Ghosts and Shadows, I think, series by Darcy Coates. So I got this from the library as well. I'm almost done. I could not finish yesterday. I really wanted to, but distractions. I have about 50 pages left. So this is going really well. As I said, I liked House of Shadows really well, and I really am enjoying this one too. I think I liked the first one better just because it was that house. This is another house in another place, and things are still happening that we thought were resolved at the end or near the end of the first book, and it didn't. So anyway, poor characters. Anyway, but I like the way, I still like this a lot. So I will definitely be picking up more Darcy Coates. I have another book of hers here that I picked up from the library that I just picked up on a whim that was there when I was there last weekend. So I will probably try to read more of her. Might be this week. We'll see. I didn't bring it in here, but we don't know. We'll see how I feel. Anyway, but I'm really enjoying this journey, and I'm definitely going to finish this off today. I do have a book that I'm halfway through that I read this week that I'm not sure what I'm going to do. This is called One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, I think. So this is a book that I understood was supposed to be kind of like For the Wolf by Hannah Winton. And that's the Wilderwood series. So we're following Elsbeth, and she is kind of estranged from her father and his second wife and her half sisters and stuff. She has been living in the country with her aunt and uncle because they've been kind of hiding her because there's an infection that some people get, and a lot of times when people have the infection, they are killed because they don't want it to spread. And she survived the infection, but she did not get one of the side effects, which is you get some magic, and it's not always a good thing, and that's why a lot of times they are executed. But she unfortunately not long after comes across what they have, this deck of power cards that everybody is trying to gather in this town called Blunder, and they are trying to it's supposed to, you get these power cards together, and they give you powers for the time that you're holding them and using them. She touches one, and it actually is the Nightmare card, which then attaches to her in a way that he is now in her head and talking to her since she was 9 years old. So this is 11 years later. So she's had this monster in her head for, this thing in her head called the Nightmare for 9 years. And so he talks to her all the time, and he also can give her powers at certain points. So she's been living a very quiet life nobody knows that she has this problem. And now that she's 20, and it's the solstice, so they go to the main castle where the king is to celebrate it. And things start changing within her family, with her cousins, and she gets kind of caught up in a conspiracy with the cards and some people who are trying to collect them. Okay, so maybe I'm not explaining that very well, but I really enjoyed this at first, And then the farther I got into it, the more and more I just kind of lost interest. So I'm 204 pages in out of just under, it's like 390 pages. And I set it down. I don't want to read it. I love the cover. I really wanted to like this. I like where it like, it's part of it. I like where it went, but I'm also not liking some choices made by some of the characters, or I don't know, there's something that's holding me back on this one. And I feel like, I don't know if it was my mood, because I'm not in a very big fantasy mood. I mean, I'm reading a lot of horror that has paranormal stuff in it, but it's not fantasy. So I'm not sure if it's because this is a different world, you know, different, all the world building stuff. I'm just not getting along with it. So I do have it for another 2 weeks. So I might try it again, because I did make it halfway through, but it's not calling to me. So this might be a DNF. I can't pinpoint what it is about it that just, I don't know. There's just something, I even like her love interest. Well, I mean, yeah, kinda. I don't know if he really is. And again, it's a series, so there's going to be more than one book. I don't know. I don't know if it's a duology or a trilogy or anything. I just know it's supposed to be a series. I just don't know. This book has me confused on what to do with it. So I don't know. I might I might come back to it and read it, and I might not. So anyway, so that's why I'm not DNFing that one for sure, because I still have kind of, I'm not quite sure on that. So, speaking of DNFs, I'm still reading for Victober, some of the poems for Emily Bronte. I haven't picked it up in a couple of days, but I'm still like halfway through that. So I'm going to try to get done by the end of the month. Mary Barton is just not calling to me right now. And as much as I want to take part in Victober and to read stuff for that, my brain is not allowing me to. And I've just decided to allow the mood reading to work. I am going to try to listen to the audiobook again this week, but I have not listened to an audiobook in 2 weeks since the last time I picked this up. And I think it's just a block. Like, I don't want to do it. So Mary Barton, I want to read more Elizabeth Gaskell. I love North and South. I want to continue through her books. Mary Barton it stops me at the same spot each time. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this. I own the audiobook, so it's not like it's going anywhere. I own the book. It's not going anywhere. I might come back to it. So we'll see. This might be another fail for this year on Victober. We'll see. So then I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I could read this week. I have no idea what I'm going to pick up. I still need to read Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson. I might pick up Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, because I do have that audiobook from the library. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. I do have Reluctant Immortals, which I'd really like to try, and Wakenhurst, and The Widow of, The Witch of Willow Hall, The Hacienda, and House of Hunger. So I have like quite a few different kinds of spooky-ish books to read. I know I should read Shadows of Self to get farther into that, but it's just not calling to me. So we'll see what I can do. I don't know what I'm going to read. I've already talked way too much, but I did read so many books this week. I can't really fault myself. So I'm just going to mark one DNF for the one that I've for sure DNF'd, The Children of Red Peak. I started a series by accident by reading House of Shadows, but I will be finishing that later today. I don't think I read, what else did I read? I think everything else. Oh, I did start another series. I started the Innkeeper Chronicles series. I did read nonfiction, or historical fiction. I'm going to say 2 of those were that for Mexican Gothic and the House of Shadows. Yeah. I had one, well, I'm not going to count my reread. It was just a comic. I'm not going to worry about that. I think that's everything, right? That I can count? I think so. Yeah, I didn't really, it's super great, but hey, you know what? That's how it goes. Anyway, so I won't worry about that anymore. Anyway, I don't know. As I said, I'm in a weird mood, and I'm just gonna continue to read what I want. I just need, as much as I want to take part in Victober and do stuff like that, maybe it's just right now, any kind of stuff that I have to read is not working, which is why Brandon Sanderson is still sitting here that I just can't get to, even though I know I need to, because I know that the last book is coming out and I'm behind, and I'm like number 12 on the hold list. So I know I'm going to get one as early as possible. But I can't make myself read anything right now. So right now it's just, if I pick it up, I pick it up. If I don't, I don't. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it. Sorry this video is super long, but I did read a lot of stuff. So if you've read any of these, let me know what you thought. If there's anything you think I should pick up sooner rather than later, let me know. And let me know how your guys' reading is going. And are you guys in a weird mood as I am? I have to go be social now. I have to, I'm going to make a taco salad and go to my coworker's kind of, well, not his going away party. He's not going anywhere, but I'm not working with him anymore. His last day was on Friday. So that's kind of sad after 8 years that we've been working together. So I'm making a taco salad. So well, hopefully that'll turn out okay. I haven't made it in like a decade. I had to go get all that stuff. So I got to go put that together and do that. So other than that, I think that's it. Let me know how you are doing, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.